Welcome everyone to the world of Jim Rohn, where we delve into the depths of human psychology and the hidden dynamics that shape our relationships. In today's video, I'm going to unravel a fascinating topic that could transform how you perceive those around you. The 3 secret tests avoidant people use before they truly open up. Have you ever wondered why your partner, family member, or colleague seems so withdrawn and unapproachable? Do they always maintain a certain distance and are unwilling to share their true feelings? Chances are they're unconsciously employing one of these tests to gauge your trustworthiness. In this video, I'll help you decode these subtle tests and share the secrets to navigating them skillfully. We'll meticulously analyze each test, from the smallest signs indicating you're being evaluated to the most intelligent response strategies to earn the avoidant person's trust. You'll not only gain a deeper understanding of the avoidant individual's behavior, but also uncover the underlying mysteries of their psychology. Why do they tend to avoid intimacy? What makes it challenging for them to open up to others? And most importantly, how can you cultivate a genuine and lasting relationship with them? Join me as we explore these captivating insights in today's video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated on future valuable videos about psychology and relationships. If you find this video intriguing, please like and share it with your friends who might be interested in this topic. And feel free to leave a comment below if you have any questions or insights to share. I'm Jim Rohn, and I'm thrilled to accompany you on this journey of exploring the enigmas of the psychological world and relationships. Avoidant individuals in relationships often don't open up right away. They don't suddenly withdraw or vanish without a trace. Instead, they subtly set up tests to gauge their partner. These signals aren't easy to spot. They're hidden in their reactions, in the silences, and even in seemingly casual remarks. For instance, they might delay commitment with probing questions like, "Are you truly serious about this relationship?" Or, "If one day I'm not the same person I am now, will we still be together?" They might create small distances by keeping important parts of their lives private, waiting to see if you're patient and trustworthy. These tests aren't meant to manipulate or hurt, but rather are their way of protecting themselves from the risk of abandonment. If you're not aware, you might unintentionally feel pushed away, or worse, think they don't care at all. But once you understand these signs, the relationship will become clearer. You'll know when to be patient, when to reassure them, and when to set boundaries for yourself. So, how do you navigate these barriers without losing yourself in the process? Let's delve deeper. The first test of the avoidance, the gauntlet of pain. According to clinical psychologist Hal Shorey, avoidant individuals often unconsciously set up challenges to test whether you will hurt or reject them. I call it the gauntlet of pain. The term originates from the 17th century when condemned individuals had to run between 2 rows of soldiers and endure lashes. If they survived, they were pardoned. If not, they faced dire consequences. In love, you don't suffer physical harm, but you undergo equally harsh emotional trials. Imagine you're in the early stages of a relationship. Things are going well. You text for hours. Romantic dates make you believe this could be the one. But then, suddenly, they change. Your messages are ignored, plans are canceled at the last minute, warmth vanishes, replaced by an inexplicable coldness. One day they care, the next they're distant, as if they've never met you. This leaves you confused, even hurt. You wonder, what did I do wrong? Do they no longer like me? But in reality, you're just being pulled into the gauntlet of pain, a test to see how much you can endure. The avoidant doesn't intentionally hurt you, they're just protecting themselves. If you've ever felt pushed away by someone with an avoidant tendency, remember that they don't do it to hurt you. They do it because they're afraid of being hurt first. On the surface, they may seem cold, distant, or even cruel, but inside, it's a defense mechanism they've learned long ago. When they sense the risk of being hurt, they choose to retreat instead of facing it. But it's not because they don't care, it's because they don't know how to maintain closeness while feeling safe. This fear often stems from childhood when they grew up in an emotionally unstable environment. Perhaps they had moments of being loved and cared for, but were then abandoned, scolded, or forced to face difficulties on their own. Such experiences lead them to form a core belief that closeness is unreliable, that relying on others is dangerous because it can easily turn into rejection at any time. To avoid that pain, they learn to withdraw, build a strong shell, and limit emotional dependence on others. As adults, they unconsciously recreate this pattern in relationships by setting up an emotional gauntlet. This is a series of challenges they create to test loved ones, not to manipulate, but to confirm their greatest fear, that if someone truly sees who they are, they will also leave them. Every time they withdraw, become cold, or even push you away, it's not simply a random reaction, but a test. They want to know, do you really care? Will you be patient, or will you leave them as they've always feared? For example, you may be in a good relationship, everything seems to be going smoothly, but suddenly they become distant. They might cancel plans at the last minute without a clear explanation, ignore your messages, or even become irritable over small things. You're confused, wondering what you did wrong, but the truth is, they're testing how you'll react. They're checking if you'll be patient with them, or if you'll also leave them, like they've experienced before. If you leave, it only reinforces their belief that love always ends in rejection. They'll tell themselves, I was right, no one can really stay. But if you stay, showing patience and understanding, perhaps, just perhaps, you're different. This doesn't mean you have to endure hurtful behaviors from them, but you need to realize that their reactions stem from a deeper fear. And if you understand that, you can create a safer space where they gradually learn that closeness doesn't equate to danger. However, this doesn't mean you have to endure an emotionally draining relationship just to prove your loyalty. Constantly being tested can make you lose yourself. It's important to recognize that this is not normal or healthy behavior. In fact, it can be deeply damaging, and you have the right to choose whether you want to continue stepping through this gauntlet of pain. Either you pass the test and get a rare glimpse of their true vulnerability, or you fail and they retreat further, believing they were right to keep everyone at a distance. It's a draining cycle for both sides, but it's nothing compared to the next test, the ideal lover test. The ideal partner test. Meet Jessica. She's a successful, intelligent, and independent woman, but when it comes to love, Jessica has a list of criteria so long it sounds more like a job application than a dating wish list. Her ideal man must be over 6 feet tall, have a degree from a prestigious university, earn a 6-figure income, enjoy sports but not be obsessed with them, be humorous but not obnoxious, thoughtful but not clingy, independent but always prioritize her, and that's just a fraction of her endless list. It's no surprise that Jessica is still single. She frequently rejects men who don't meet every single criterion, even if they might be kind and sincere individuals. When her friends offer advice, she retorts, I won't lower my standards just to be in a relationship, but there's a paradox here. Those who set excessively strict criteria are often the ones most afraid of being hurt. They're not truly seeking a perfect love. They're seeking an excuse to keep their distance. And the irony is, if Jessica's perfect man encountered difficulties in life, losing his job, facing a crisis, or changing his views, would he still fit her list? We often criticize men for judging women by their appearance, but Jessica's standards reveal that unrealistic expectations are common in both genders, and interestingly, her list closely resembles the tests that avoidant individuals often impose on their partners. If you've ever felt confused by the behavior of an avoidant person, here's the secret to understanding them. Everything they do revolves around a simple question: does this help me maintain my independence? They constantly seek to create distance in relationships, and one of the most sophisticated strategies they employ is the phantom Exon idealized image of love that never truly exists. Avoidant individuals have their own lists of criteria for an ideal partner, but unlike Jessica's fixed list with numerous requirements, their list is constantly expanding. It doesn't just focus on one specific person in the past, but is a combination of the best traits from all their past relationships. The result? A phantom ex-Frankenstein, an ideal pieced together from the best experiences they've ever had. But the contradictory thing here is that image is not a real person. According to the book Attached, avoidant individuals tend to downplay the importance of their current relationships. They only recognize its value when it's too late, when things have become dull or when their partner has left. They forget all the real-life difficulties, remembering only the beautiful moments, and then wonder what went wrong. This is the Phantom X phenomenon. When looking back, they only see the perfect moments that have passed, but forget the disagreements, hurts, and challenges they once faced. This makes them idealize the past and feel that no one in the present can compare to their previous relationships. This phenomenon is not just a simple regret. It's a psychological tactic that avoidant individuals unconsciously use to create distance. By clinging to Phantom X, they can maintain an impossible standard, allowing them to constantly find reasons not to commit to a real relationship. This explains why they always feel dissatisfied with their current partner, even if that person has many good qualities. Phantom X helps avoidant individuals maintain the illusion that the problem isn't with them, but that they haven't found the right person yet. They continue to pursue a perfect figure that doesn't exist, instead of facing their own insecurities and fears. And the saddest part is that this very obsession prevents them from building a truly deep connection with anyone. Interestingly, many people think that an avoidant person is only obsessed with one past relationship, a departed person they can't forget. But the reality is much more complex. They don't just remember one person, but assemble pieces of memories from various relationships to create an unrealistic standard. No one in the real world can meet these requirements, and that becomes the perfect reason for them to continue avoiding intimacy. Phantom X gives them a sense of security. It helps them avoid facing the hurt, risks, and vulnerability of real emotions. Whenever they feel a relationship is too close, too committed, or too real, they can retreat into that idealized world where no one can hurt them. But here's the key point: no one in reality can compare to Phantom X. That means the avoidant always has a reason to keep their distance, to procrastinate, to not fully commit to a real relationship. And sadly, this also means they may miss out on the deepest and most genuine connections of their lives. Test number 3, the global gauntlet. When the cycle never ends. Have you ever dated an avoidant person? If so, you're probably all too familiar with this avoidant wheel of misfortune, right? Everything starts off full of promise. The two of you are like lovebirds, inseparable, enjoying the sweet moments of love together. But then, one day, the ice wall suddenly appears. That person starts to withdraw, becoming cold and distant. You feel like you're being abandoned on a lonely island. And so you get stuck in the avoidance global gauntlet. They push you away, then pull you back in. This cycle repeats itself, gradually draining you both physically and emotionally. This is the avoidant wheel of misfortune, a loop that avoidant individuals continuously cycle through in their relationships. Stage 1. Initial excitement. In the beginning, the avoidant feels happy, energized, and immersed in the novelty of love. They enjoy the exhilarating emotions of connecting with someone without any pressure. This is the honeymoon phase, where everything is easy, fun, and without any real commitments or expectations. During this stage, the avoidant is often very proactive. They text constantly, suggest meeting up, show deep interest, and make their partner feel special. They might plan romantic dates, share personal stories, and act as if they've finally found the right person. This creates the illusion that they're completely ready for a long-term, deep relationship. However, it's important to understand that this excitement doesn't always stem from a genuine need for attachment. For many avoidants, this is the stage where they get to enjoy all the perks of love without having to face the more challenging parts, like vulnerability or emotional responsibility. They love the feeling of infatuation, enjoy the attention, and relish the closeness, but on their own terms. Beneath the sweet facade of exhilaration, the avoidant isn't truly committing to the relationship. They're just living in the moment. They don't think about the future or how to maintain a long-lasting connection. This means that when the reality of a relationship begins to surface, when the need for stability, commitment, or emotional responsibility arises, they will quickly feel trapped and look for a way out. Stage 2, withdrawal and partner testing. After a while, when the partner desires more certainty, the avoidant begins to withdraw. They become less attentive, inconsistent in their behavior, and start testing to see if you can tolerate their distance. This is the global gauntlet, a psychological test they set up to see how much of their distance and instability you can endure. They might experiment by replying to messages slower, being less proactive in making plans, or gradually reducing intimacy. If you react by demanding more or appearing anxious, they might see it as a sign that you're too needy or clingy. Conversely, if you wait patiently, they might continue to push further away, seeing if you'll still be there when they return. Avoidant individuals can create situations that leave you feeling confused and doubting yourself. They might act warm one day and then become distant the next without a clear reason. You might feel like you're playing a game where the rules are never explained. This isn't because they want to hurt you, but because they want to test if you're truly safe for them to place their trust in. During this stage, many people get caught in a vicious cycle of trying to prove their worth. You might start compromising, accepting the uncertainty with the hope that they will change. But the reality is, this withdrawal isn't a test you can pass. It's a sign of a recurring loop. Stage 3. Comparison with Phantom X. If you make it through the testing phase, they'll put you through another challenge, comparing you to an idealized figure from the past, also known as Phantom X. They idealize a perfect image, pieced together from the best traits of previous partners, creating a standard that no one can meet. They might unconsciously or intentionally put you in a no-win situation, making you feel like you're never good enough. Avoidant individuals use Phantom X as a shield to protect themselves from true intimacy. By keeping an idealized figure in mind that doesn't actually exist, they can maintain the feeling that the problem isn't with them, but that they haven't found the right person yet. This allows them to avoid closeness without having to confront their fear of commitment. Moreover, they don't just compare you to one specific X. They take the best traits from many past relationships, creating a perfect image that no one can match. Perhaps their ex-girlfriend was very thoughtful, while another had a charming appearance, and yet another had an incredible ability to empathize. They combine all these things to create Phantom X, an unrealistic standard that anyone in the present cannot compare to. No matter what you do, you always feel like you're lacking. If you're too assertive, they'll remember a gentle X. If you care too much, they'll mention someone who used to keep a healthy distance. And as you try to adjust to meet these criteria, you'll realize that the horizon keeps moving further away, and you can never reach it. Stage 4. The recurring cycle. Even if you overcome every challenge, this doesn't mean you've been accepted. The avoidant will just restart the loop, continuing to test you again. They're not truly seeking stability, but are trying to confirm that they still control the relationship and don't have to sacrifice their independence. Many people get stuck in this loop because they believe that if I'm patient, they will change. They think that passing the test will prove their feelings, but in reality, this only prolongs the instability and drains them emotionally. The truth is, in a healthy relationship, you don't have to constantly prove yourself or endure endless challenges. If you realize you're stuck in the avoidant wheel of misfortune, ask yourself, is this relationship really moving towards stability, or are you just trying to survive an endless cycle? Happiness doesn't come from enduring harsh conditions, but from the efforts of both people to build a safe and lasting connection together. You can't change an avoidant person if they don't want to change. You can love them, be patient with them, but if they're not willing to step out of their loop, you'll forever be caught in an endless cycle. It's important that you recognize your own worth and know when to stop. A real relationship is where both people build connection and trust together, not a series of tests that need to be passed. Don't waste time chasing someone who isn't willing to stay. Prioritize yourself and seek a relationship where you are valued and safe, because in the end, your happiness shouldn't depend on how many challenges you can endure, but whether you can build a healthy and lasting love with someone. Thank you for listening. and taking the time to learn about this topic. I hope that what I shared today can help you better understand the psychology of avoidant individuals and how to protect yourself in such a relationship. If you find this content useful, don't forget to share it with those who need it. See you in the next topics.